Friends, today I have another recipe that you guys are gonna love. The recipe for today is a very how can I describe, it's very typical that in the Caribbean we do this type of soup. Is usually with they can combine chicken, they can combine pork, or they can combine with beef, or they can just mix the whole three meats together and then add veggies and stuff and then make like a soup, like a hearty soup. So we call it Sancocho. So that's how they call it in Dominican Republic, and that's how they call it in Puerto Rico. And I think in Cuba they have almost the same thing, but they call it Ajiaco, something like that. So that's basically what it is. If you guys go to Miami, and if you go to a like a very traditional Cuban restaurant, you will find that soup in a lot of those places. Same thing with Dominican restaurants and Puerto Rican restaurants. Usually they have it, but just because we are doing Lent in Puerto Rico, well, not everybody, but my grandmother used to do the same soup, but instead of using meat, because we're not supposed to eat meat around the Lent, just because on Fridays we're not supposed to eat meat. So she used to combine all those ingredients and substitute the meat for codfish, bacalao. I had this recipe before, years back, in another channel that I used to have, that I lost, of course, but I just want to like recap a little bit of that same recipe and then just repeat it one more time. I used to have the channel in Spanish, so now it's in English. So for people that are not related to the Spanish culture, like the Caribbean people. So if you guys go visit to Miami and you guys go in and sit down in one of those restaurants and you see the menu, and then you see what the word Sancocho or Ajiaco, you guys already know what it is, and you guys are gonna have more or less an idea of what to expect in that soup. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what are the ingredients, and more or less I'm gonna give you like a little description of how they look, just for you guys to if you guys have the ability to have supermarkets with Latin products and a lot of these vegetables and stuff. So that is really not vegetables, but it's really root vegetables. That means they grow in the ground, like in the ground. I don't know. I mean, it's different. So anyway, so just to make it like really quick, let's start like showing you. So like I said before, we're gonna add the codfish instead of meat. We're gonna be using tomato sauce. It's very simple, you guys, but it's very tasty, it's a very hearty soup, very good. So so we're gonna use tomato sauce. We're gonna use sofrito, and remember, if you guys don't have sofrito, you guys can always substitute with recaito or sofrito from the Goya brand. Let me see if I can show you real quick. If you guys don't have the homemade sofrito, you can always substitute that for the combination of the sofrito and the recaito right here. You guys can see it more or less. You guys can find these in Amazon, Walmart, or any Spanish supermarkets if you have it available. If not, you can always buy it online. Okay, and we're gonna be using those ingredients, and we're gonna use just a little drizzle of olive oil, just to enhance the flavor of the soup. And I don't know, maybe I could say that maybe to avoid the vegetable to stick at the bottom of the pot. So more or less, you don't have to use a lot, just a little drizzle is fine. Okay, so the first root vegetables that I'm gonna show you is this one right here. I know it's big, but we're not gonna be using the whole root vegetable, but this one they call it Ñame in Spanish. And if you're gonna translate that to English, I think the meaning of Ñame in like if you try to look for Google, is the incorrect one. This one is more like taro root. That's what it is. Okay, it's taro root. This is the real meaning of Ñame. Okay, so then we have Yautia. Is this one right here. Once we start like slicing and make it into little chop pieces, you will see how it look inside. Or more or less, this one is no, this is not yuca. I'm sorry. This is Yautia. Okay, this is Yautia. It looks just like that. It looks like that or like this one, more or less. And if you're gonna translate that to so what they meaning of the right description in Google, they call it jam, when in reality it's no word to describe how we can call this one, because if you search for jam in the regular supermarkets, it will be more this one. It will be more like the sweet potato, that when you open the sweet potato it looks like orangey inside or yellow. So this one is what they call it jam, but this one they call it Ñame. No, Ñame, Yautia. Okay, so this one is Yautia, and this one is jam. So it's more or less sweet potatoes, the sweet potatoes that they usually eat like in the south. So this is the one. Now for us in our culture, in the Caribbean, we call it like sweet potato. We don't call it jam, just sweet potato. We call it batata dulce. So it doesn't matter what the color is. This is same thing. Now in the Caribbean, we grow another type of sweet potato that is something more like this one, in this color. So if you're gonna find this in a supermarket, they call it batata blanca, because it's more like in the yellow, like little like whiter side. But if you're gonna look for the proper way to find this, even if you are in the fruit stand, the Chinese fruit stands and stuff, where they have fruits and vegetables, you will find these that they call it Korean sweet potato. So this is more like Korean sweet potato. Okay, so we're gonna be using that. We're gonna be using cassava. Let me show you which one it is. Using cassava, that is yuca. Now you can always buy the yuca like in the root vegetable like that, but because it's a lot of work to be like chopping and taking the skin off and everything, so it's easy just to buy this one and then just boil it, separate it from the soup, and then add it to the soup later, or whichever way is easy for you. Okay, so we're gonna be using this one too, and then we're gonna be adding we're gonna be using, before I forget, we're gonna be using, depend on the amount of sancocho or ajiaco or root vegetable soup that you're gonna do, we're gonna be using like 2 to 3 depending on the pot, how big it is, the pot, and how much is the amount of root vegetable that you're gonna be using. So for my recipe, because it's a small batch, we're gonna be using 2. Okay, and the ones that we're gonna be using, okay, is the one that says with culantro y achiote. So that means it's with annatto. Okay, and we're gonna be adding to the soup pumpkin. Okay, so this is the pumpkin that we're gonna be using. We're gonna be adding to that green bananas. Okay, we're gonna be adding green bananas. We're gonna be adding green plantains. This is very familiar if you like tostones, like in our culture. So this is it. So we're gonna be adding cabbage. Okay, Gonna be adding cabbage to our soup. We're gonna be adding, let me see over here. We're gonna be using carrots. We're gonna be adding corn. So we're gonna cut it in little slices, in round slices, and we're gonna add that to the soup. And then to enhance the flavor even more, so we're gonna be using cilantro. I have it over here. It's optional. If you wanna do it, you can add it. If not, you don't have to add it. I mean, with the sofrito and the rest of the ingredients is fine. But cilantro, and we're gonna be adding this one over here. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it grows a lot in the Caribbean, in the island. We call it Recaito, but it's really maybe culantro, more or less. So it's this one, and it's very fragrant, very good, very fragrant. Okay, so we add these usually to sofrito if you live in a Spanish neighborhood, in supermarkets that they have it, so it's always available. So basically those are the ingredients, and then we're gonna start like chopping and see the sizes that we're gonna be making the root vegetables. This way they can cook in uniform time and all that stuff. But it's a really good recipe. You guys are gonna enjoy it. I bet you that. And one more ingredient for our soup. What we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be using let me see, I have it over here. We're gonna be using water, okay? And the broth is gonna be made basically with water, the ingredients, and the codfish, okay? And I'm gonna use a special helper that will gonna be my mother. I'm not gonna show her face because she's shy, but while she's chopping, I'm gonna explain to you the whole process, okay? Okay, the first step that we're gonna be doing is the same thing as of my previous video. We're gonna, because it comes like cured in salt, we're gonna remove a lot of the salt, okay? And remember, I'm using just 2 pieces of the codfish because it's a small batch what I'm doing, okay? But depending on the amount that you guys are gonna be doing, then you use a whole pack, okay? And then what we're gonna be doing after we rinse it, we're gonna boil it separated, okay, from the veggies, from the root vegetables. I put the codfish in the pot with water, and then we're gonna let it boil to make it soft, and then we're gonna shred it, and then make sure that doesn't have any bones. And then in this other pot, we're gonna be adding the cassava to cook it, because the ones that I got is the frozen ones. If it wasn't the frozen ones, then you will do the same steps that with the other root vegetables. More or less, I'm putting a few pieces because remember, the pot is gonna be full with a lot of root vegetables. So I'm putting a few, and then we're gonna wait until it start like getting soft, and then we're gonna chop it, and then we're gonna add it to the soup. The first one that we're gonna be doing is the Korean sweet potato. So it's hard, so you have to have patience, because you have to peel it, take the skin off. And you see what I'm saying about that is very different from the yellow yam or the yellow sweet potato that you guys have in the south. It's mainly like a pale yellow or maybe white. It's hard, so you have to have patience, okay? And be careful. So I more or less, after she peel it, I show you the little pieces that how we're gonna be making that. So we're gonna be peeling and chopping everything. We're gonna be adding everything into the pot, and then we're gonna rinse it just to get the dirt out. The pieces for the sweet potato, it's a little bit like in fourth that she's like chopping it, because it's sweet potatoes, and then when it start like getting soft, sometimes how can I say it, they get disintegrated when they get a little bit too soft. So that's why it's better just to keep it a little bit in the large size. Oh, and you can add, I mean, it's people that they add regular potatoes, so it's up to you. If you want to add potatoes, you can add potatoes too. I mean, we try not to eat potatoes, because we add potatoes into potato salad. I mean, we add potatoes into beans, so sometimes you get tired of potatoes, so you always want like to eat something different. Okay, now we're gonna be adding what they call it in the South, yam. That's the yellow or orange sweet potato. Same process. Be doing the pumpkin, and you just have to have patience, because sometimes those root vegetables are very, very hard to chop. Same process. We're gonna like chop it, and not too small, because it gets very soft, and then it will break. So more or less those pieces like that. Okay, now for the pumpkin, we're not gonna be adding the pumpkin inside the pot, because this one tends to soft right away, like cook right away. So almost at the point where this one is already nice and soft, and it's getting like cooked properly, then we're gonna be adding that. So make sure that after you chop it, you just put it on the side. Okay, we're gonna be chopping the Yautia, and this one, it gets a little glossy and sticky. It's just like a milky like liquid, so that's why we always tend to leave it for the last to clean. Same process, same thing. We're gonna be doing that, clean it, remove all the skin, and then we're gonna chop it. Always make sure that you remove those little parts. And like I said, we just making a small batch, but depending on the amount of people in your family, then you do like a little bit more. Okay. Now we're gonna be cutting the, what we call it in Spanish, Ñame, but it's really taro root. Okay, so let me see if you guys can see a little bit more like the inside. Okay. From the taro root, we add it to the pot, and then we put a little bit of water to avoid that the root vegetables start turning into black color, because it changed color. It's almost like oxidized, and it started like getting like a little bit like blackish color. So we put a little bit of water, but remember, we're gonna rinse it again because it's dirt. Okay, we're gonna be adding the green plantain, and then because it's hard to open the plantain, what we do is usually we do like a little like slash. Let me see if she can put it like a little bit more, this way you can see with the knife. You run the knife through the green plantain, and then you put the waters from the sink in hot water. Let me see if you guys can see it like over here. Hot water, and then you put the hot water to the plantain, and then it will like soften the skin, and then it will be easy to peel off the skin. You guys can see how hot it is. And we do the same thing with the green bananas. Okay, so same process. Guys can see that with the hot water, you see how we once you slash the banana start like opening. So now it's easy to put the knife and then start like wiggling the knife, and then the skin will peel off easy. Now you guys can see, so that is easy just to put it run the knife through, and then just peel it off like easy. You see, nice and soft, and right away you can peel off the skin. That's a little trick, just in case if you guys don't know how to handle the plátanos. You see, nice and clean, very cute, very perfect. Now the way we're gonna cut it, we're not gonna cut it in circles. We're gonna slash it in the middle, and then we cut it one more time in pieces, like that. maybe later on we can do another ajiaco or sancocho with meat. This way you guys can see the consistency and the color, because it gets different. Okay, now this is the green banana. Same thing, it's very easy to peel, very nice and fast. Okay, that's it. You see how he is? You see it is 1, 2, 3 when you run the water, the hot water. Only the people in the campo knows that. That means only the people in the countryside knows how those little tricks. So with the green bananas, because they're small bananas, so you can just chop it like that. I'm gonna be chopping the carrots, and because the carrots are usually hard, you can always add it to the root vegetables. Doesn't matter, because they're not gonna break. I mean, of course, you peel off the skin and the dirt and everything. These are already clean. Show you the progress of the codfish or the bacalao. You guys can see all these like bubbles and the water like changing color, and all that stuff is because of the salt. We're gonna take the bacalao, the codfish, we're gonna shred it, but we're gonna keep some of the water just in case we have to add a little bit of this salty water into the soup. Okay, and over here, I don't know if you guys can see, but just want to show you the cassava. When you guys see that the cassava is like, let me see if I can see it, like over here, like it's breaking like that, opening like that, that means it's getting ready and it's almost like cooked. Okay, so when the other one started like opening like that, that means it's ready. And then you guys can see if it's for tender, that means it's ready. Okay, so we can always turn it off and then chop it. Chopping the cabbage. We're not gonna add the cabbage yet. When the root vegetables start getting soft, that's when we're gonna be adding that. Okay, or more or less. More or less in those little sizes like that, because we have to remember it's gonna get soft, and it's gonna shrink even more once it start getting cooked. Okay, I'm gonna put in that side. Okay, so that one and the pumpkin is always at the end. Okay, with the corn, we're gonna chop it like this. This one is frozen, so it was a little hard to chop it, but more or less we're gonna cut it like that. If it's fresh, you do the same thing. You just chop it like this, cut it like this, and then this one you can always add it to here, even if it's frozen or fresh, because it's not gonna break. Okay, so now we're gonna be washing the root vegetables, rinsing everything, making sure that the water runs clean. Make sure that we have something to collect the veggies, and make sure that the dirt don't go inside, don't stay inside the pot, and the veggies are nice and clean. It's always like a little something. Keep on rinsing it just to make sure that everything is nice and clean. through the holes, the sand will go out. So. And we're gonna be collecting the water in the pot for the soup, but it has to be cold water, okay? We're gonna start boiling everything in cold water. And add the cold water. Make sure that it's cold water. And we're gonna put enough water to cover all the root vegetables. It's really like the amount is like almost half pot. So okay. Now that we have the cassava already nice and soft, you guys can see that it's soft, right? Once you see that it start opening like that, then you just go and then you open that, and then you try to get the little veins. I don't know if you guys can see it, like over here. Let me see if I can more or less give you like a little view of what I'm talking about. Is this little center over here? Okay, so that little part you guys are gonna remove. Okay, sometimes it has more than one, so like this one. So you guys are gonna remove that, and then once you do that with all of them, we're gonna chop it. We're not gonna chop it like little pieces. Like if it's little ones with this size more or less, it will be okay. And then we're gonna be adding that, but at the end, because remember this is already cooked. Okay, so same thing with this one. So we have to make sure that we take that out. Okay, same thing over here. And same thing with the rest. What we're gonna be doing now is making sure that we shredded the codfish or the bacalao, and make sure that we remove it's without bones, but like I said before in my previous video, sometimes you will see little pieces of bones that we always have to make sure. Okay, and you remember the water that we boiled the bacalao or the codfish. Don't throw that water, because that water has salt, and it will give more flavor to the stew. Okay, but more or less you're gonna shred it like that, and you see right here, you always have to make sure, because sometimes you will find them. That's why it's very important that you guys look for the one that says sin espinas or without bones, because even at that you still gonna catch a few bones. Friends, now that we have all the root vegetables in the pot, we're gonna have it in medium low heat, and then we're gonna start adding the ingredients. Okay, the first thing that we're gonna be doing is adding sofrito. And we use like around a little bit more than half of the water, because remember, this water right here is water with salt from the codfish. Okay, that we're gonna add it to give a little bit more flavor. We're gonna be adding the tomato sauce, maybe like a quarter cup, depending on it's up to you. It's no measurements exactly for that, is by eye, how we usually cook. We're gonna drizzle a little bit of the olive oil to avoid the veggies to stick at the bottom, and we're gonna add like the 2 envelopes of Sazon with annatto. And at this point you can add the bacalao, the codfish. You can add it now. You can add it now, and you can add the corn. And and you have to now you can complete with a little bit more water and just stir it a little bit better. And then add a little bit of the salty water. You guys can see that's the water from the codfish. And then it's more or less you see up to the top, because that water is gonna help soften the root vegetables. We still have a little bit of more water left, because as soon as it start getting evaporated, you can still add more water if it still needs to be cooked for a little longer, or you can add some of this water. Okay, the rest of the ingredients we're not gonna add it now. We have to wait until this one start like cooking. I have some cilantro and culantro over here, so we're gonna like run it through the water just to make sure that we remove all the sand. Okay, and then we're gonna be chopping that. And then add it to the soup. In with the cilantro. Okay, we're gonna be making sure that we remove all the dirt. We're gonna chop it in little pieces together, and those are really very aromatic herbs, so it's gonna give a lot of flavor to the broth. And while it's boiling, we can always add the herbs now. We're gonna be adding the herbs, okay? And that give a little bit more color to the broth. Okay, and we're gonna let it like boil. It's gonna take a few minutes to get it soft, but it's gonna be nice and delicious. Now that you guys see more or less that it's already past like maybe like half an hour of the cooking time, and it's like the root vegetables start getting a little bit like more like into the soft side, so we're gonna be adding the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so what we're adding right now is the pumpkin, and we're gonna be adding after the pumpkin. Give me 1 second. Let's make sure that it gets inside the water. This way they can we're gonna be adding the cabbage, and it's gonna get soft. And we're gonna be adding the cassava or the yuca. Remember, that one is already cooked. Okay, and if you feel like you need a little bit more water, you can add the water, or you can use a little bit of the salty water left, okay, from the codfish. Okay, we have to make sure that we stir everything from the inside out. And then see if we need more water. I'm gonna be adding a little bit more of the water with a little bit of salt. Okay, and we're gonna stir it. Be careful, just low the flame, because it's gonna start like boiling, and just lower the flame a little bit, then let it cook. Okay, friends, this is the final product. This is how it is. This is how it look, and it's already all the root vegetables are nice and soft. Okay, so I'm just gonna serve it, and then we're gonna taste it to see how it tastes, and this is the best part. Okay, friends, this is how the sancocho or ajiaco look. Look how nice and and brothy and delicious. Okay, so let's see how it tastes. Friends, now you guys see how easy it is. It's a little time consuming because you have to chop and you have to clean everything, and it's a whole process, but this is the final product. This is how it is. And just a little suggestion, if you are vegan, you can do the same process. Don't add any meat, don't add any fish, and instead of I don't know, just to enhance the flavor a little bit more, you can add all the root vegetables. You can add the sofrito, the whole process, the whole recipe, and then you can add a little bit more of I don't know if you guys can see this product, better than bouillon, veggie bouillon, and that gives a little extra flavor. And another suggestion that you can do, instead of adding codfish, you can I used to do it like in the past, when I used to have a larger family. I used to don't use meat, or like, I mean, chicken or beef or anything like that, or pork, and then don't use any codfish, and then you can add if you like, let me see, if you are in the vegetarian, you can add shrimp, you can add lobster, you can add clams and oysters. Yes, and it tastes really, really good, believe me, really good. So I think you should try with lobster, with shrimp, and then do the same process, okay? And it tastes really, really, really good, really good. So now let's try. Oh, and you can add white rice. Yes, I don't have white rice right now, but you can add white rice, and that would be more like a soup, okay? And if you live in a state that is really cold because it's winter, this is a very healthy soup. It will warm you up right away. Okay, so let's see. Let's try okay, let's try the broth and everything. It is really delicious. You have to remember the color vary because depend on the meat. Right now we're not using any meat, we're just using codfish. So in the color because of the sazon with annatto, okay? But it's really, really, really good, really healthy. This is it's a really good recipe for vegetarians or vegans if you don't add meat, okay? I hope you enjoy the recipe. Try it, believe me, you're gonna like it. And if you go to Miami or any place where they have a lot of Latinos, taste it, try it, because they have it usually in the restaurants. They call it Sancocho, or they call it Ajiaco, okay? So I hope you enjoy the recipe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.